Heading into the opening credits in less than 30 seconds. All right, I am now going. The Wellness Show, episode number 425.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson Banighen, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. Welcome to the Wellness Show on health, wealth, and enlightenment. And today we're very pleased to have Ms. Angela Dumas with us on Money and Me. And Angela Dumas is deemed by her students and clients worldwide as a reality-bending metaphysical gangster. Angela receives transmissions to help end suffering as her cosmic champion. She's here to usher in humanity in their conscious evolution. She helps you access greater peace and ease by bridging the gap between practical and spiritual realms, so you can have the direct experience of plugging in and being connected to your higher self with lasting results. She works with spiritual entrepreneurs, conscious leaders, and personal development junkies who are tired of being distracted by miracle blockers and committed to being crystal clear about that final step of achieving the one thing they're all looking for, the ultimate state of happiness and freedom. Angela assists you at a deep level to access your inner discipline and become the unshakable witness who stands strong, steady, and calm no matter what's going on in the world around you. Holding a safe container for you to experience trust, Angela helps you prove to yourself the universe always has your back no matter how messy life gets. But everybody wants predictable, stable emotions, which translate into effective consistency in your daily life. Wouldn't that be nice? And naturally raises your inner value at the very core of your being. Angela points the way to see for yourself who and what you really are, and that all your answers waiting for you are inside you. Angela awakened from a coma to discover a gateway was opening for her that completely transformed her life. This enables her to now help you uncover the barriers that you have built against realizing the love you've always been. So today she's here to talk about money and me mastery. So welcome to the Wellness Show.
Well, thank you for that. That was the whole thing. Enchilada, thank you so much for having me here. It's wonderful to see you as usual. Loved.
Yeah, those was a lot of words, but they're powerful words. So what you got you started in wanting to do the whole aspect of helping people with money and me?
Well, money is a thing that everybody deals with. Some way, shape, or form, even if they're in an indigenous tribe, there's some kind of like form of exchange of something. And most of us don't live in indigenous tribes. And being in the world of it's steeped around money, not having its scarcity, and all the cliches that we've heard, that money is the root of all evil, that money doesn't grow on trees, you're not made of money, there's never enough of it. I mean, and if you're spiritual, God forbid, you better not have too much. There's so many stories. I just thought it would be a really good way to open up the discussion, right? So that we have a place to speak about money without having to feel afraid, ashamed, or bad. Everyone has a story. The guy under the bridge, the guy in the high tower. Everyone has one. And just revealing these stories by just looking at them a little bit, suddenly it opens your awareness. And it can really be life-changing. That simple step alone can make a big difference in someone's life.
So most of us are then impacted by the stories that we heard about money when we're growing up, right?
Yeah, we're shaped by these stories, especially with our families. And recently, I've been doing this Money in Me Mastery series where I've been doing interviewing people, one of whom is which is you, about how their stories were impacted. And I saw across the board the most successful people, even if they were raised with nothing or very little, if their parents kind of didn't pay attention to the lack and still provided them with like support, they did the best. And that is not what a lot of people experience. A lot of people experience non supportive family members, and that can be sometimes where the subconscious and the little programming lies. Yeah.
So are you saying that those that are born with a so-called silver spoon don't necessarily do better than those that are, say, have a more difficult upbringing around money?
I think that if you have a silver spoon, it's not really about that. I have met some people that were born into a lot of wealth, and so money just isn't an issue. But they have a lot of other things because they didn't have X, Y, Z. But it's not necessarily related to it. It can be, but
Yeah.
yeah, but the coolest thing was to see how people who said, we had nothing. I didn't even know what a birthday present was. And what we did is just, we had one room and it was teeny. And they always just said that the kid doesn't know. The kid doesn't know they don't have it, right? At least this didn't. So yeah, a lot of it has to do with being able to face money too and deal with it instead of hiding our head in the sand and going, oh, I don't want to deal with this money issue.
So a lot has to do with how the parents felt about money and talked about money. I know when traveling in developing countries, I was really overwhelmed by, how little money everybody had, but how much joy they had and how willing they were to share. It's like there was no scarcity in their mind. There was scarcity in my mind, and looking at the poverty or so-called poverty I thought they lived in. But for them, there was no such thing as poverty.
It's really amazing because that really takes us into the mindset, and it is the way we look at it. And in our culture, everybody has everything and we want more. And then we're always looking to find a way to fill that hole inside, which is non joy. We want to fill it with things. And what I think you're talking about is seeing the world countries, the people there that experienced, they weren't trying to fill up with that. They were filling up with other stuff. And that's what was being exuded, evidently, from what you're saying.
Yeah, I think part of it has probably in that case has to do more with the community. There was more like trading and bartering, helping each other out. And I think that's one of the neat things that happened with COVID is that we're learning about community. We're learning that our support and our sense of family, at least for us, is more community oriented now than it was ever before. So we're finding, or at least we're finding that, barter and all that is really taking the place of what we used to think we had to go to town and spend money on.
Yeah.
So
I think
voice of money, you talk about, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, it's okay. Good.
Well, you're talking about the money has a voice. So talk more about that.
What I found when I was really, really ferociously ill and I came kind of back to life, there was a spotlight on money because I didn't know first if I was going to live literally. How would I, if I can't know that, then how would I pay my bills? And it is a thing that comes into your mind. And so weirdly, it spotlighted money and it kind of drew me inward more and more as an evolutionary process.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, when I got really quiet, I had nothing else to do except be in excruciating pain, and I would like learn how to really get quiet. I started being able to have a conversation with money. And it was really my higher self. Yeah, that's really what it is. But I now can actually have a connection and say, should I do this or not? Because money really knows everything about you. And because it's really your higher self. It's like with some of your people, you have a dowsing group, like a huge community of dowsers. That dowsing thing, the pendulum or what have you, it's the same thing. It's your higher self, right? But money does have a voice. And if you really listen, It can be a female voice, a male voice. It can change. It can give you incredible insights where instead of being impulsive about something or emotionally triggered to buy something or whatever, if you just get quiet, it'll say you don't really need it. And then if you wait, suddenly something better comes along and it's without effort. There's no pushing. That's kind of how I see it.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. So, I mean, this is really interesting for me. So the dowsing intuition that we teach people and learning how to do, dowsing or using a pendulum or muscle testing or body sway, you can ask those sort of questions around money. So is this at my highest and best that I purchase this, or will I get the most satisfaction or benefit from doing this with my money or not doing with my money? That's what
Yep.
you're saying, right? Have the
Yeah.
conversation with your money, right?
I could take it a step further if you're interested.
Absolutely. Take it many steps further if you want.
So if you're using your pendulum, which I have mine over there, you can say, can I connect with my money voice? All right.
Yeah.
Get that on first.
Yeah.
Get set into that and kind of be like, and then you might have to practice. It might say yes or no when you're really clear, and just ask, is this a good time to ask money questions? You really want, it's kind of like making an appointment with your financial advisor, right? And so then you can start asking questions. If you jump the gun and you don't get aligned with it, you might not get the answers you want. So give yourself a minute, because the mind and the ego is going to come in and try to trick you a little bit when it comes to money. So I highly, I can't recommend anything, but that's what I would do is make sure that, how am I on money? And you know how it works with dowsing. After a little while, you can just feel it. You can feel it
Right.
in your arm and your body. So,
So let's come up with a statement. So
Okay.
when I ask my money guide or my money advisor, I only want the answer from my higher self connected with source. So there you are. Then I don't want to answer the answer any other way. I don't want the answer from my ego. So now I'm one with my higher self connected to my money financial advisor. I love that. That's so powerful that now you have your own advisory council
Yes.
on the upper dimension, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then you want to ask, I don't know how you guys do it exactly, but for me, I always ask opposing questions. I may ask three little questions like, am I really connected to my money guide right now? Does money have my back? Because if money has your back, that means you have your money's back. If you're willing to deal with money, money will handle you too. You handle your money, money will be there for you. It's a two-way street. So ask the questions that you have your correct, you know, what did you call that? Like a statement, a declaration, and do it in the way
Yeah.
that you have been taught, and play with that. And then when you get it, when you really right on and your pendulum is swinging correctly for you as a yes, then you can start asking questions. Start asking questions. And it might be like, maybe, because you might be off track. Am I on track? You can keep, am I still on track with my money guide? Keep checking in until you get that like pathway really clearly defined and as an experience, not just something in your head like marbles.
Right. Well, Gio is saying on his mind and ego are his problems. To try and make the difference between that and his higher self. So, yeah, can be a difficult question.
Yes, it can. And it's a matter of practicing and getting quiet beyond the thoughts. It's if anyone, I have a very deep practice myself, and I've learned to see beyond the thoughts or let them be outside and around me and just watch them. And if you can get quiet enough, then you'll know the answer without fail. You will get an answer, but it's you can't jump the gun. And the ego and mind, they work in cahoots. We can call them the same thing, but they know that you'll cut yourself short and jump in quicker, right?
Right.
So you're like, ego, go for it. You do what you want. It's your program, by the way. The ego is your program, and so is your mind. So you just sit long enough. You've got to give yourself long enough. People cut you gyp yourself all the time. Sit long enough with your pendulum. Sit, ask questions. And one day you'll be like, oh, I got it.
There was another thing you said, and I just caught as you said it, is that it's a two-way street between money and you. You've got to pay attention to your money. And I'm going to maybe go a little bit further and say your money flow both in and out. You've got to pay attention to that so that money can complete the circuit. In other words, if you don't pay attention to your money can't pay attention to you. Did I get that right?
Pretty much. And if you really face it, it's not out there creating some weird thing with your mind. Your mind isn't creating another story because it's going to tell you, you know, your mind's going to say blah, blah, blah. And you're going to be like, yeah, that's right. It's not right.
Right.
The truth is that when you handle money, money is there for you. If you are really connected to it, it's there for you. It's an energy. It's your reflection of your inner value. That's why I say I'm here to help people raise their inner value so that you can reflect outside of you what you're seeing, right? These eyes are little projectors seeing what is going on inside of you. And that might be too far. I should not say that. Okay.
Well, no, I think so. I mean, I was listening to the Dalai Lama yesterday, and he was talking about the five aggregates, which are, you know, the way that we smell, taste, hear, all that, and telling him that that's all illusion. You know, from a Buddhist perspective, it's illusion. And we think it's concrete, we think it's real. But our true selves, our real nature, as he says, is beyond that. And that if we want to get trapped in it and get, you know, sort of mucking around in the mire, in the mud, then we will stay in attachment of those five senses. And if we want to be liberated, or if we want to be unattached and get out of our ego and into the divine flow, then we pay less attention to those. We don't get, we pay attention to them, but we don't get trapped by them because we know there's something greater than that.
Yeah.
Definitely have to practice having a relationship with money. Yes, Glow, you do. That's Glow. Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. You do have to have a relationship with money, so go for it.
Yeah, money can be an incredible trusted friend and ally because it's really the deepest part of you. It's your wisdom available. But when we get stuck in our emotional stuff, which is part of the senses, by the way, okay, those emotions are dragging you around like a bull with the nose ring in it. And you're going, oh no, oh no, oh no. But if you can be like, okay, let me just take a seat for a minute and take a look at these emotions, you know, because we feel we're in them. That's why we're wired for them. It's all wired. So we're egoic. That's it. Eyes, taste, smell, touch, memories, thoughts, emotions, experiences, dreams. And so when we can get quiet and see past them, then you can kind of start seeing. There are ways to actually do this, but I'm not sure that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the whole thing of our money is really wrapped up in our sense of self-worth, right? And our ability to not only love others unconditionally, but to love ourselves, right? That's part of the whole flow of money, is it not?
You put that beautifully. Money in and money out can really be actually the same, but some people are leaking money. And so it sometimes a lot of times has to do with people pleasing or boundary issues, or avoidance issues. So you can learn a lot about money. So one of the best things I think someone could do is go ahead and write down, what did you learn growing up? Like I didn't learn that money doesn't grow on trees. I never heard that. My mother was from Europe.
Right.
I just didn't hear those cliches, but it's in the ethers and it's injected into our culture. So it's running around in our bloodstream. So scarcity is a funny thing. See what you learn. See if you can use your pendulum and see if you can access which money things did I learn? Did I learn this? Mm-hmm. Even beyond your knowing it, you might have still learned it.
So these are what you're referring to as money blockers then. They're both the ones that come from your family of origin. It probably comes from your lineage too, I would think, as well.
Correct. Right? Yeah, especially like farming and peasants. And I call them miracle blockers because miracle blockers are the negative, disempowering stories and the emotions that come with it. Doubt, fear, confusion, overwhelm. I can't, not for me. If I make money, I'll lose it. I make money, then I don't make money. I've never made money. Like all the things. That's just a big conundrum right there. Those are miracle blockers. and what we're
Yeah,
doing.
I don't do that. Anything that blocks the flow of energy.
Right. It's energy.
It's all energy. So how can we change these money blocking stories? What have you learned by interviewing all these people? How many people have you interviewed, or will you be interviewing altogether?
We did 22, and I think we're ending up with 21, unless, I don't know, sometimes schedules change. What are you going to do?
Right.
But the main thing that what I learned is everyone has kind of a simple, their own method, but gratitude was the number one thing that I think was across the board, being grateful and gratitude for what you have, which is exactly coming full circle to the story you told about traveling third world countries.
Right.
Gratitude. I think I think it's really kind of the same almost, is trust. Really learning to sit into trust. That is not easy to do if your emotions are all over the place. So there are some things that you probably could learn about how to manage your emotions, even with your pendulum or other ways. And then the third thing I would say was taking a look at where you find yourself being negative with money in a certain way, that you do your thing or afraid, and you got to push beyond the fear. And I'm not saying push, saying look at it. Maybe go ahead and write down, what did you learn? That's a great first step. What did you learn? If you see what you learned, you have a place to start, right?
Right.
I don't want to give too much to that, because if you're not even willing to do that, and it could be too overwhelming. So that's a great place to start.
So let's go back to the gratitude and what you've taught me, and is is to do your journal, right? Your gratitude journal. This says gains, but it's really having appreciation for what flows in, and even to the extent of being brave and paying your credit cards is thank you for the use of the money that I had in advance of my ability to manifest it, and I'm truly grateful for having the credit card. And yes, I'm prepared to pay the interest on it to have what I wanted today. And so now you can take the burden of the debt off of you, be truly grateful for what it is that is provided in the divine flow. And the more gratitude you have, the more the money flows, and the more you can pay your bills. And it's not just money, which is really, really exciting. When you do your gratitude journal, you will find that your wealth, whatever you want to term wealth, is far beyond the sum total of what's in your bank and what you own. Your wealth, that flow that's coming to you is just amazing, right? Just amazing.
Yeah, this money talk is really about our capacity for the natural and automatic, spontaneous ability to manifest, right? When we get calmer and we can relax into our body, that's where that all happens naturally. And when we talk money, we're not really talking paper and coins necessarily. And I love what you said. So one of the things that I've been doing for years is I write any check I write, or anything that I PayPal or whatever that is, I take a moment and I thank it for being here before it even leaves. And if it's a check, I write, thank you, God, or thank you, money. I write stuff. I'm like, I'm so blessed. And I do. I'll go to the mirror and I'll say, look at this. I have the ability to give this to someone, which means that is only coming one way back to me.
Right.
Two-way street means, right? It comes back to you.
Yeah, it does say in the Bible, right? It will be returned tenfold. So try that out. See if it works, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about the whole seminar. We get in a sense that once again, why did you want to do this seminar? What was the idea about interviewing all these people around money, and why do you want to do this, and what's it going to entail, and how to get people to get involved, and all those sorts of things?
Okay. It's actually a summit, and a summit is a gathering, I call it, of the round table. People that are experts in the field of finances, mindset, abundance, manifesting, money, and spirituality. I didn't want to take spirituality out of it, because it just, for me, what is it? It's paper.
Right.
Money has to do with what we give it value and meaning. The meaning of it. Gather these top experts who would open up and reveal their private money stories what blocks got in the way, what kind of role models they had. We asked a lot of questions. What would happen to them if their money was stripped away completely? What would they do fresh? What kind of things are they interested in helping the world understand about from their perspective? And everyone is offering a gift. We have 21 beautiful speakers, literally from around the world. Um, and some people are authors and best-selling authors and speakers and coaches, um, top CEO experts, we've got it. We've got everything. We've got a great. We've got Tyhson to have a way that they could locate themselves in another person's story, such that they could see there is definite. No matter COVID, no matter it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what is out there. The environment within us is the thing that's being reflected, and all these people had obstacles. Well, a couple didn't, but it's still nice to know that it's possible, right? And
Yeah.
I love that they were able to share their, I mean, most people are not so willing to share their private money stories. That's a pretty deep thing, you know? And they got up there and they did it. I'm so grateful for everybody. How you can get on is it's moneyandmemastery.com. That's
Yeah,
it.
and don't forget it's in the show notes, and it actually will be on the screen. Michael will be putting it up. That's the link. So if you can't copy it down, is that going in front of your eyes? Don't forget it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah.
So this
And
seminar, this is a, go ahead. Sorry.
the summit starts on the 16th of November. So get access now.
And you're gonna have, are they like one speaker per day? How is it organized?
Going to be 2 speakers per day sent out, except I'm doing something special on Thanksgiving because we happen to be right into Thanksgiving. I'm going to get a little prize to everybody, and then because people are kind of busy on that day, and then we start back up. But you will literally have the notes for the for each person's interview. You'll learn a little bit more about them, and then you'll get your free gift from them and their interview. So it's running from the 16th to the 20th through the 27th.
And will people be able to download these and look at them afterwards, or they just live?
There's an option to be able to do that, but it is free to watch as it is. And I
Yeah.
believe I'm doing a replay. As far as I know, there have been a lot of glitches that have been snafus here that have been happening, but we just go with the flow. There's a replay in case you miss any. And they're about 30 minutes there's one that's like 50 minutes. I kind of just let it go to where it was cooked because sometimes things became interesting, you know, or extended. I just allow
Right.
it.
So yeah, so the answer is yes. I'll help Angela with the answer to that. Yes, they will be available for you to get this series after the fact. I'm sure that we can help her do that. As long as they were recorded, then there's a way in which we can share them.
There's an option for that, and
So, well, thank you very much. But before you go, what are the key things that you think are really important that you learned from this series that you want to make sure that people don't miss, and why they need to show up? That's a tough question, I know, but I'm sure you can do that.
you know, it doesn't always come around that you really have a place to see and listen to other people talk about money in a way that you can do it privately and relate to it. There are aha moments that you have not yet perhaps even experienced. And if you could allow yourself to be open, even if you think you've done your money work, you might be surprised at. I've done a lot of money work and I was still surprised. And I'm sure there's more surprises for me yet to realize. But it's really interesting to be in the energy and they're high. I call you guys high vibe experts because you have a higher vibration, and that is amazing to be with. You're not just, you know, talking to the media or whatever. You're talking to real people who've gone through stuff, who are sharing with you, and you can feel it in your body. That alone acts like a tuning fork to help you raise in yourself. It elevates your stuff, and it helps you to look. It's a really gorgeous way to not be afraid of even thinking about money. Because
Right.
a lot of money people just shut down. It's this it's the hardest thing for people. And your relationship with money is a direct reflection of the relationship with yourself. So for me, the number one thing is you show up, you're building a new habit, you're open to something new, so you can wave bye-bye to those miracle blockers and literally say hello to a new happy money relationship. That's what it boils down to. It starts something afresh in you, right?
Right. Well, thank you. So it sounds like to me that if you come to this series or seminar or summit, it's going to provide you a reflection of probably some of the things that you're dealing with your own money issues, and provide you some energetic steps that you can take that others have taken before you to break yourself free and to achieve a higher level of integrity in connection to money and you. So I welcome you to join us on this series. It's going to be totally exciting, and yours truly is going to be there as well. And I think I can be honestly saying after that, in a not too distant future, there will be actually a course provided on money and me. So I'm just going to slip that out. So if that excites you, then stay tuned. This is the first step in the continuing journey of a series of stepping stones to get you from where you are to where you want to be with money in the shortest amount of time. So thank you for showing up on the show. It was great to interview you. And please, everybody, show up and have some fun with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, bye, everybody, and thanks for showing up. Bye for now.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.